Every year, a desert in China was swallowing up thousands of kilometers of human habitation. All around, only suffocating dust would blow. There was no water here, not a single tree survived, no trace of life could be found. But then, a brave man in China took a strange, smart step. Over 30 years, he planted nearly 300 million willow trees in this dead land. He released 4 million rabbits, and he installed 200,000 solar panels shaped like a horse across the desert. But who performed this miracle, and how did rabbits bring life back to this desert? Let's find out in today's video. China's Kabuki Desert is the 7th largest desert in China, spreading over about 7,200 square miles. This desert is so vast that it could contain Jaipur, Rajasthan. It is located in northern China. The weather here is no less harsh than a battlefield. In winter, the temperature reaches nearly -10 degrees Celsius, and along with that, the wind keeps blowing. The intensely cold wind feels like a knife cutting the skin. But the summer weather is even more terrifying, heating up the entire ground and turning it into hell. The Kabuki Desert was not always this vast. Once upon a time, this area was covered in green forests. Rivers flowed here, animals roamed, and there were countless villages with farmers' fields beside them. But then, everything changed. Strong winds began to blow. Gradually, the grass disappeared, and sand covered everything. Houses, roads, everything got buried under layers of sand. Slowly, the villagers here began to flee. Birds and animals vanished. Within just a few decades, the Kabuki Desert expanded about 25 miles eastward, burying thousands of acres of land. From 1950 to 1960, the Chinese government tried many ways to stop this desert. They planted trees to block the wind, they banned grazing animals, they dug deep wells on the dry land, but none of it worked. Day by day, the desert kept growing. Finally, the government gave up, but one person was determined to stop this desertification no matter what. That person was Wang Benbao. Wang Benbao was not a wealthy man. He was a poor teacher from Inner Mongolia. Every day to go to school, he had to cycle about 6 miles. The road was covered only with dust and sand. Crossing the path was very difficult for him. Sometimes the wind was so strong that sand would get into his lungs, making it hard to breathe, and this struggle was his daily routine. One day, while going down that road as usual, he had a crazy thought. He decided, I will change this desert so much that the whole world will be shocked. In 1988, using all his savings and some borrowed money, he started a big experiment with a small salt company. He had no big machines, only imagination and confidence. He spent millions and planted 50 million willow trees. People laughed at his experiment and called him mad, but Wang did not stop. He continued planting trees. Then he brought the strangest thing to the desert: rabbits. A place with fierce winds, flying dust, and bone-chilling cold. In this extreme climate, he planned something new that no one could have dreamed of. He didn't bring any technology or high-tech machines. He released hundreds of thousands of rabbits into the desert.
These were not ordinary rabbits. They were French Rex rabbits. They're called white gold in the fur industry. Their skin is as soft as velvet and as strong as calf skin. Their fur is used to make expensive coats. One rabbit's skin sells for about $30, but it only costs about $2 to raise one. A female Rex rabbit can give birth to 200 to 300 babies a year, many times more than a normal rabbit. These Rex rabbits can survive in hot and dry places. They drink very little water, eat dry grass, and can even breed in extreme cold. Now, why did Wang Benbao release these rabbits into the desert? Because these rabbits hold the formula to revive the desert. Their meat is used as a delicacy. their fur for clothing, and their organs for traditional medicine. But their most important product is their droppings. Their manure contains reserves of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, the three nutrients most lacking in this desert. When their manure falls on the dry sand, it turns the dry sand into moist, rich soil. The most interesting thing is that Rex rabbits cannot digest grass seeds. That means every time they defecate, they automatically plant seeds with natural fertilizer. With a little touch of rain, those seeds sprout. Wang Ben Bao knew that to keep the rabbits alive in the desert, he needed to provide something that wasn't there before: food and shade. And the silent heroes of Wang's plan were the willow trees.
Willow is no ordinary tree. Its roots can go as deep as 40 meters, reaching underground water and also helping to hold the sand together. Then the life cycle began. The small willow branches became food for the Rex rabbits. The rabbits ate the branches and dropped nutritious manure around the trees. The trees fed the rabbits enriched the soil. The soil helped the trees grow. In this way, a natural cycle was created where nothing was wasted. The desert began to revive itself. Within just 10 years, over 300 million willow trees were planted. As a result, sandstorms decreased by nearly 90%. There was no dust in the air anymore, only the scent of greenery. But Wang Ben Bao did not stop there. He turned more than 7,200 square miles of desert into a vast economic and ecological experiment field. He brought in 100 bulldozers and over 3,000 workers to flatten sand dunes and build wind-resistant fences. Thanks to Wang Ben Bao's brilliant mission, within a few years, about 70% of the area turned green. In just 10 years, the number of Rex rabbits reached 400,000, bringing in millions of dollars every year. Families who had once fled their homes because of the sand began to return. Each family spends about $3,000 to $4,000 on rabbit farming, but every year they earn more than 10 times that amount. Just when people thought the Kabuki Desert's green success had peaked, Wang Ben Bao surprised them again. He built one of the world's largest and most beautiful solar energy hubs there, the Junma Solar Power Plant. It has about 200,000 solar panels arranged in a way that from space it looks like a running horse. These power plants generate so much electricity that they could supply power to 2 cities like Dhaka.
But the real magic lies beneath. The solar panels provide shade, control wind speed, and allow grass to grow underneath, which feeds the rabbits. The soil gains strength, the sand cannot blow away, and a new ecosystem forms right under the panels. After many years of fighting against the desert sand, nature finally responded. A report in 2023 shocked the world. In Kabuki, the number of wild deer, desert foxes, and birds increased 4-fold. A place that was once mile after mile of sand with no sign of greenery, where animals had vanished, began to see life return. Within just 20 years, the groundwater level rose by 5 feet. If you dig a hole there now, you will find water at half the depth compared to before. Not only animals returned to Kabuki. Along with willow trees, countless other plants grew. The golden sand mixed with green grass, giving the place a breathtaking look. Even a small patch of forest glistens when sunlight falls on it. A desert that was once a symbol of death has now become an oasis. Now, the question, the rabbits that brought a curse to Australia, how did they bring good fortune to China? In Australia, just 12 rabbits multiplied to 10 million in 50 years, causing such a plague that the government paid bounties to kill them. The secret behind China's success is that in Kabuki, the rabbits are kept within a controlled ecosystem. It was not a blind experiment. They cannot roam freely in the desert. They eat willow trees, release manure, improve the soil, and bring profit, creating a smart ecosystem. In Australia, they were an unchecked pest.
Friends, by merging nature and technology, China not only saved the environment, but also opened a path to earn money. Today, this desert has created jobs for thousands of people. The land that was once a dead sea has now become a center of electricity and greenery. The lesson from this video is, if humanity stops enmity with nature, then nature becomes its greatest strength.